Recent reports of China's sixth-generation fighter taking flight sent shockwaves through the aviation world. With no warning, only action, many assumed China had taken the lead. At the same time, the U.S. paused its NGAD program, fueling doubts about its progress. But what seemed like a setback was actually silence before a storm. Now, revelations suggest the NGAD may be up to a decade ahead of China's fighter. What secrets has the U.S. been keeping? What technologies could place it so far ahead? Join us as we explore the capabilities of the U.S. sixth-generation fighter, believed to be a decade ahead of China. The F-22 Raptor has long been the backbone of the U.S. Air Force's air superiority strategy. Designed specifically to dominate enemy airspace, the Raptor is a powerful and fast aircraft, capable of flying at supersonic speeds without afterburners. It was considered so vital to national security that Congress banned its sale to any foreign country. However, despite its impressive capabilities, the Raptor fleet is aging. Introduced in 2005, only 185 F-22s are currently in service, and new challenges are quickly emerging. One of the biggest threats comes from China, which has made major advancements not only in missile technology, but in its sixth-generation air fighter. Long-range attack missiles and advanced surface-to-air systems now pose serious risks to traditional fighter jets. These weapons could potentially strike American aircraft even before they leave the ground, or prevent them from getting close enough to perform their missions. The idea of flying directly into enemy airspace is becoming more dangerous as modern defenses grow stronger and smarter. To keep ahead of these evolving threats, the U.S. Air Force launched the Next Generation Air Dominance Program. This project aims to create the world's first sixth-generation fighter jet, one that can replace the F-22 and remain dominant in the skies for decades. NGAD is not just about building a single aircraft. It's about designing a family of systems. At the center will be a large, manned fighter jet, supported by smaller, unmanned drones that can fly alongside it. These drones, often called loyal wingmen, will help carry out dangerous missions, gather intelligence, and even engage enemy targets. The NGAD concept started with a 2014 DARPA study. Over the next decade, the idea evolved into a full-fledged program focused on advanced stealth, speed, sensor fusion, and network warfare. The future of air combat has been the subject of intense debate, especially around whether manned fighter jets still have a place in modern warfare. Some high-profile voices like Elon Musk have suggested that unmanned drones are the future and that the era of piloted aircraft is ending. These ideas sparked uncertainty within the U.S. Air Force, and by late last year, the Next Generation Air Dominance Program, a massive effort to build a sixth-generation fighter jet, was quietly placed on indefinite hold. For many, it looked like the traditional fighter jet's days were numbered. Then came a stunning twist. On March 21, in a move that surprised defense experts and industry insiders alike, President Trump abruptly awarded Boeing the contract to build the Air Force's most advanced fighter jet yet. The aircraft would be named the F-47, and it would push forward where NGAD had stalled. What shocked many observers was how early the decision came, before key officials, such as the Secretary of the Air Force and top defense acquisition leaders, had even been confirmed by the new administration. Aviation analyst Bill Sweetman noted that such a bold and early commitment to a major defense program was completely unheard of. Yet the announcement sent a strong message. The U.S. is still betting big on traditional air power. While tech entrepreneurs like Musk advocate for fleets of smaller, cheaper drones, military experts remain cautious. The geography and operational demands of the Pacific region, especially in a potential conflict with China, are very different from those in places like Europe or the Middle East. In those regions, air bases are close to the battlefield. In the Pacific, U.S. aircraft often need to fly long distances across oceanic stretches to reach targets or support allies. This vast distance makes range and endurance key requirements, something small drones struggle to provide. Even the F-35, a state-of-the-art fighter, has a limited combat radius of around 500 miles, which may not be enough in a Pacific conflict. The F-47, by contrast, is expected to offer significantly greater range and speed, ensuring it can operate effectively over the expansive Pacific theater. Sweetman summed it up by saying, Whatever one's view of the F-22, it can't be replaced by a quadcopter. In other words, advanced drones still can't match the reach, speed, and firepower of a full-size fighter jet in many combat scenarios. The Pacific isn't Ukraine. Small, cheap drones might work in localized European conflicts, but they fall short in long-distance, high-stakes warfare where the U.S. needs to project air dominance over oceans and vast territories. The F-47 represents a clear vote of confidence in the enduring value of manned air power. It signals that, at least for now, the U.S. military isn't ready to give up the cockpit, not when the future of global air superiority still depends on pilots flying cutting-edge machines across the world's largest and most challenging battlegrounds. Shockingly, the U.S. Air Force's next-generation fighter jet will still have a human pilot in the cockpit, a decision that has sparked debate, especially among tech leaders who favor AI-controlled aircraft. Elon Musk, one of the loudest critics, has been vocal about his belief that manned jets are outdated. Back in November, Musk posted on X, his own social media platform, that fighter jets piloted by humans will be destroyed very quickly. He has repeatedly claimed that the future of warfare lies in autonomous drones, not piloted jets, and that the age of the fighter pilot is coming to an end. Despite such predictions, the F-47's manned design reflects a different strategic outlook. Although the U.S. Air Force has not released official specifications yet, open-source information suggests that the jet will be large, powerful, and built for long-range missions. Similar in concept to the legendary F-111 bomber used from the 1960s through the 1990s. Aviation expert Bill Sweetman has pointed out that the discussions surrounding its engine indicate it could be significantly bigger than existing fighters, with enough range to operate deep into enemy territory, particularly in the Pacific. This long-range approach is exactly what some defense experts support. Justin Bronk, a senior research fellow at Royal United Services Institute, agrees with the Air Force's decision to design the F-47 as a large crewed aircraft. In his view, this is especially important in the Indo-Pacific, where the vast distances between U.S. bases and potential combat zones require aircraft that can fly far without refueling. A small drone simply wouldn't do the job. Bronk also highlights a crucial limitation of AI in warfare: its inability to operate independently when communication systems fail. In real-world combat, radio links can be jammed or cut, leaving aircraft to make decisions alone. In such cases, human pilots are still more reliable than machines. While AI can assist and even fly under normal conditions, most military leaders are not yet ready to trust autonomous systems with life-or-death decisions in the chaos of war. The decision to keep a human in the loop is more than just about tradition. It's a calculated move to reduce risks and preserve control during high-stakes missions. While AI is expected to play a growing role in combat, especially in supporting roles like drones or surveillance systems, the F-47 shows that the U.S. military still believes in the value of human judgment, especially in complex, unpredictable environments. Justin Bronk also acknowledged that choosing to keep a human pilot in the F-47 comes with its own set of challenges. It increases costs, demands extensive training, and raises the risk of needing dangerous rescue missions if a pilot is shot down. However, he believes relying entirely on artificial intelligence at this stage would be a gamble the U.S. military can't afford to take. Not yet. That doesn't mean drones are being left behind. The F-47 will fly with robotic teammates known as Collaborative Combat Aircraft, or CCAs. These AI-powered drones will act as support systems, robot wingmen, handling surveillance, defense, or striking targets alongside the manned jet. Still, the F-47 will remain the centerpiece of the mission, suggesting that human fighter pilots will stay in action for at least one more generation. The timing of the F-47 announcement was strategic. It gave President Donald Trump the opportunity to claim credit for launching America's newest and most advanced fighter. Interestingly, Elon Musk, who often criticizes manned aircraft, was reportedly at a Pentagon briefing during the reveal. Although some believe the future of warfare is robotic, the F-47's unveiling makes one thing clear: the age of the human pilot isn't over just yet. The U.S. military is moving forward with a hybrid approach, keeping a person in the cockpit, supported by a growing cast of AI-driven drones. It's a balanced step into the future. mixing proven tactics with cutting-edge tech. This vision of manned fighters working alongside advanced AI isn't just theory, it's already taking shape. Behind the scenes, industry leaders are investing heavily to bring this hybrid future to life, and Boeing is leading the charge. During the Bernstein 41st Annual Strategic Decisions Conference on May 29th, Boeing CEO Kelly Ortberg shared exciting news about the company's major role in developing the F-47 sixth-generation fighter jet for the U.S. Air Force. He explained that Boeing had made the largest internal investment in its history to support this project, showing just how important it is to the company. Ortberg described the win as a major success, especially for Boeing's St. Louis facility, which already handles the production of the F-15 and F-18 fighters. He emphasized that being chosen for the next-generation fighter would help secure the future of that operation for many years. Ortberg stressed that the F-47 program is not only a huge opportunity, but also proof of Boeing's continued strength in defense technology. He mentioned that the company's proposal for the fighter jet was already very advanced in design and development. Even though he couldn't share many technical details, he made it clear that Boeing's team had created a superior and well-prepared product. He also highlighted the positive impact of the program on team morale, saying the win had energized everyone involved. According to Ortberg, the massive investment in the F-47 had paid off, and it clearly showed that Boeing still had the capability to deliver cutting-edge solutions for national defense. The scale of the F-47 program is significant, largely because it is the only sixth-generation fighter the U.S. Air Force plans to adopt. This is a major shift from previous strategies. In the fifth-generation era, the Air Force commissioned both the F-22 and F-35 under a high-low mix strategy, where the F-22 served as the high-end air superiority fighter and the F-35 as the more versatile and affordable option. However, the F-22 program faced several issues, leading to an early end to production and efforts to retire the fleet much earlier than expected. In contrast, during the fourth-generation period, the Air Force operated a broader mix. It used F-15s for high-performance air superiority and F-16s as lighter multi-role fighters. These worked alongside specialized jets like the F-111 and F-117, while the F-20 was developed for export markets. That era showed a strategy of spreading capability across multiple platforms. The decision to now rely on a single sixth-generation fighter, the F-47, is a major departure from tradition. This focus on one platform could become even more significant if the U.S. Navy decides to adopt a version of the F-47 for its own needs, instead of developing a completely new jet through its F-A-20 program. If that happens, it would further increase the scale, funding, and strategic importance of the F-47 project. At this stage, it's still unclear whether the Navy's F/A-XX contract will go to Boeing, which leads the F-47 program, or to rival Northrop Grumman. Lockheed Martin, which led the F-22 and F-35 programs, has already been ruled out. As a result, the outcome of this decision could shape U.S. air power for decades to come. Unlike the F-22 and F-35, which were developed during a period of relative calm after the Soviet Union's collapse, the F-47 is being created in a much more urgent and competitive environment. When the U.S. began working on the F-22 and F-35, there was little global pressure and delays were tolerated. But today, the world is facing rising geopolitical tensions, especially with China making major progress in advanced fighter technology. In December 2024, China revealed flight-ready prototypes for not one, but two separate sixth-generation fighter programs. Since then, both aircraft have gone through intensive flight testing, signaling that China is moving quickly to bring next-generation fighters into service. This rapid pace has added serious pressure on the U.S. to ensure the F-47 is not only developed quickly, but also equipped with the most advanced capabilities possible. China's success in rolling out new generations of fighter jets, along with its ability to deliver fast and meaningful upgrades, has shown that it could outpace the U.S. in this race. A key reason is the scale and efficiency of China's industrial base. Its defense industry can move at high speed and on a large scale, while also putting enormous resources into research and development. Because of this, the F-47 is not just another defense project, it's a response to a fast-moving global threat. The United States can no longer afford delays or outdated systems. Developing the F-47 quickly and getting it into service is essential to staying competitive in the air. The pressure to match or surpass China's pace is now driving a level of urgency and focus that was missing during earlier generations of fighter development. This growing urgency isn't just influencing U.S. defense priorities. It's starting to reshape international partnerships too. As timelines tighten and global threats evolve, allies like Japan are looking for faster, more reliable options to maintain their edge in the skies. Boeing's new F-47 sixth-generation stealth fighter might not just be America's next big leap in air power. It could also be heading to Japan. According to reports, the U.S. President Donald Trump personally pitched the idea of selling a special export version of the F-47 to Japan. He raised this possibility during the public announcement of Boeing's win in the U.S. Air Force's Next-Generation Air Dominance program back in March. At the same time, Japan is thinking about buying more F-35 fifth-generation jets to cover any delays in the Global Combat Air Program, due to the growing worries about how long that joint program might take to produce results. The idea of Japan buying the F-47 reportedly came up in a phone call between Trump and Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba. According to Japan's Asahi Shimbun newspaper, the call happened unexpectedly and was later confirmed by Ishiba's administration. Interestingly, it took place just days before Japan's chief trade negotiator, Ryosei Akazawa, visited the U.S. to discuss Trump's economic tariffs. During a recent phone call, Donald Trump and Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba reportedly discussed strengthening the U.S.-Japan military alliance. Trump brought up the number 47, asking Ishiba if he agreed it was a good number, a reference to the new Boeing F-47 fighter jet and Trump being the 47th U.S. president. Japan is reportedly growing concerned that the Tempest fighter, developed under the Global Combat Air Program, may not be ready in time to meet its defense needs. According to Reuters, two unnamed defense sources say Japan is now exploring options to bridge the gap in its fighter fleet. One source blamed the lack of urgency from Italy and the UK for GCAP's slow progress, while the other pointed to delays in unifying each country's vision for how the future aircraft should operate. Despite these concerns, a spokesperson from the British Ministry of Defense told Reuters that the UK, Italy, and Japan remain focused on delivering a next-generation fighter by 2035. However, at least one British GCAP official has suggested that Tempest may not fully replace the Royal Air Force's Typhoons until the 2040s, later than Japan might prefer. To fill the potential gap, Japan's first fallback option appears to be buying more F-35s. While the GCAP remains Japan's long-term fighter plan, delays may force the country to turn to proven platforms like the F-35 to ensure its air defense remains strong during the transition. A new F-35 purchase could benefit Japan economically. Ryosei Akazawa noted that such a deal could support trade talks with the U.S., since defense imports would boost the American trade surplus. However, it could also threaten Japan's commitment to GCAP. And if Japan pulls out, the UK and Italy may struggle to continue the program alone. GCAP already faces financial strain due to UK defense budget pressures. An alternative could be the F-47, a sixth-generation stealth fighter recently announced by the U.S. If the U.S. offers the F-47 to Japan, it could give Tokyo faster access to next-generation air power. Trump hinted at potential export sales of the F-47, possibly with downgraded features for allies. Still, its projected price, $180 to $200 million, could be a hurdle. Yet for Japan, it offers a rare chance to fly America's top fighter, something never permitted with the F-22. It would also deepen Japan-U.S. military cooperation, especially important amid rising tensions with China, Russia, and North Korea. Japan's defense needs are growing, and the delay of GCAP might push it toward proven U.S. platforms like the F-35 or even the F-47. However, this comes at the cost of long-term independence. GCAP, led by Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, gives Japan full control over its fighter, including upgrades and exports without U.S. approval. It also ensures industrial and financial benefits from each sale. With threats rising in the region and Japan increasing its military budget, Tokyo may have no choice but to explore faster, more reliable alternatives to ensure its air defenses remain strong. But any decision to shift away from GC app would have lasting international consequences. Thanks for watching. Before you go, click the link on your screen to check out another video. See you there.